Jim Helms here again. In this lesson, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into Boolean. Boolean search strings is actually a really simple concept, so I'm not going to overcomplicate this. I'm going to keep it simple. But what I've noticed is that people, when it's brand new or foreign to them, it's like they're drinking from a fire hose. They get overwhelmed quickly. So I'm going to keep it really simple and touch on the key points, expand on what we did in the previous lesson where I mentioned it and showed you some of the super simple basics. But just keep in mind, this is actually pretty simple. And like everything else, right? You got to crawl before you can walk, before you can run. So keep it simple at first. And eventually you'll see where you can build these strings out that are super complex and long to get real super specific to get the results that you need for these searches. Okay. With that, let's jump in here. Boolean, we touched on this before, right? It's just an advanced method for online searching, and it's just combining keywords with other words, right? These operators that I showed you before, and we put them together in a little chart, and then the symbols, right? So you can use the word and or the symbol ampersand as an example. We'll show you that. Most people think this is applicable only to LinkedIn. Some people weren't even aware that you could apply this to LinkedIn, but this will apply to any search engine, right? So Google being the obvious large one, but it'll work for anything, right? Social networking sites. You can do this on Facebook searches, okay, or Twitter or X or whatever it is now, right? Resume databases. My personal resume database that I've accumulated over the years with all the different firms and stuff is over 59 million. We store that in a SQL database, and I have assistants that are constantly doing Boolean search strings in that. They do that a lot with other things as well, other sites and databases, different programs. And then you can also apply this to applicant tracking systems, which are specific for the recruitment staffing industry. If you're in that space, you know what those are. It's basically a CRM for recruiters. And so the operators and modifiers that we touched on, right? The words and, or, not, use the quotes, quotation marks, and then parentheses, and then an asterisk. The operator words must be in uppercase, right? So and has to be uppercase, or has to be uppercase, or it will not work, okay? So, and that's why we put the note there, always uppercase operators or it won't work, okay? So this you can screenshot this, keep it for future reference if you want, but this tells you what those are. So and is when you want to have both, right? GM and construction is the example that we used here. And then or means either or. It's that simple, right? So PM or project manager, right, would be GM or general manager, okay? And then the word not. And so what we did do that I didn't touch on previously was the symbol. So you can also use the ampersand sign here versus the word and. And then this is not an I. This is just that straight vertical line, which on my keyboard is above the slash line, which is down below the back button on my computer keyboard, right? But that is a vertical line. It's not an uppercase I. But you can use that or the word or. And not, obviously, you can use the minus sign instead of the word not, right? And that will exclude things like jobs. If you do a search, I don't want the job listings, I want the candidates, so I exclude jobs. Quotation marks, pretty self-explanatory. So this will give you that exact phrase, okay? So if you need that exact phrase, then you put it in quotation marks. And then the parentheses is used to build a search with a combination of those operators, right? I need a GM or general manager and construction or whatever, right? And you build it out here, okay? And then the asterisk is if you want all of the versions of that word. So in the example here, manage, right? It's going to deliver manager, management, etc. Okay? So it's pretty, like I said, it's pretty simple. Those are the basic rules for utilizing this. So keep those in mind. Like I said, you can screenshot that, all right? So, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper. You can do syntax searches with that, which is really just a file type. But you can use this on sites. You just have to reference the site, right? So like here are the examples we give you, right? It's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you're searching. And then you can use a title for the syntax, right? So the word resume, right, says right here, in title or in title bio. So we type that into the syntax with all the other things that we're looking for, and we'll know we're going to return resumes, right? And then the text search syntax, that's for like a text doc, which is real common in a lot of the databases, not so much the sites, but the databases is when you would do a text. And then you can do the file type, right? And these, no big surprise, PDF, doc, right? That's just the way people typically save their resumes, is why we do that on file types, okay? So let's apply it. So let's say we're looking for, and this is just a random example that we just made up, right? Let's say we're looking for a general manager for a home builder that's based in New York City. Okay, and this will work anywhere for anything. Okay, I did this, did a search for a fellow protege for a GM for a roofing contractor in Memphis, Tennessee, and it produced results for him. So, all right, but here we have the title, right? GM, general manager, construction manager, senior project executive. There's probably other variables of the title that this individual may or may not currently have, okay? We got the location and then the industry. So what we're going to do is build out a Boolean string, right? And this is a site syntax search, right? So we have the site and then LinkedIn.com and general manager or GM and New York or New Jersey or Connecticut, because if you look at the map, right, New York City metropolitan area encompasses parts of all three of those states. So this will give us those that are specifically in the New York City metropolitan area and anywhere in those three states. So, all right, and then we added and construction or build, and you can see we got the asterisk there. So that's going to deliver building, builder, whatever, right? All of those various forms. So I'll copy that and paste it into just a Google search, and you'll see the results here, okay? So let's check this out. Let me jump out of there, and we go into this, and you can see right there is that same Boolean string that we built out, right? And after I hit enter, it delivered 495,000 results in less than, a second. 0.53 seconds. And then you can continue, like I said, 495,000, that's a lot of candidates to look through, okay? You're not going to do that. So you can continue to build this out to narrow down and continue adding to it. And that's basically how we do that, okay? So let me show you what it looks like in LinkedIn to give you an example. And keep in mind, this syntax, right, produced 495,000 results. So I know there's 495,000 people with the title of general manager or GM in the construction and build asterisk space located in those three states, okay? I know this because that's what Google told me, right? And if you look at this, these are all LinkedIn profiles, okay? And absolute worst case scenario, if you really wanted all 495,000, you could hire a VA to sit here and compile these LinkedIn URLs, and then you run it through a scraper, put it in a CSV, run it through a scraper to get their emails and so forth, or start messaging them on LinkedIn. But as an example, all right, so here's what I did. This is the exact same syntax search. Okay, the only thing I removed was the site syntax part of it. But it's general manager or GM, and then the location and construction or build, right? And you can see it tells me no results found. Why did it do that? Well, because in the search bar in LinkedIn, you cannot add the locations, right? It won't let you do that. So the way to do that, so I've removed the location. So this is just going to give me everybody, and just click on people, or you could have clicked here for the all people results, doesn't matter. See, there's 18,200,000. Okay, that's a lot, but it's not, it's not location specific. So now we're going to go in and type in our 3 states. Okay, so there's Connecticut. Oops. Connecticut, New Jersey. And then I'm going to get New York. Excuse me. Show results. Okay, this is saying 616,000. I don't know if I believe it. And the reason I say that is these phrases like general manager and GM, and then the rest of that on LinkedIn traditional results, it will include their past stuff. Okay. So like, here's a good example. This guy is currently the general manager at Innovaseer, and you can see it's in the healthcare and life sciences space, right? So I'm just going to pull him up to use it as an example. So his construction and building experience, what is Innovaseer? Data and analytics platform company. He is clearly not what we're looking for, right? But he's got this construction. Obviously, we see where the general manager stuff come from, but he's got some construction and or build somewhere in one of these spelled out a little bit further in his profile somewhere. So that's, what we call a false result. And that's one of the problems with LinkedIn search on their platform. It's like their platform wants to give you as many results as possible without giving you exactly what you're looking for. So again, you could build that out even further, or you could do it in Sales Navigator is the easiest way to do that and get more specific for exactly what you're searching for. But remember, there's 18 million on the entire platform, right? And now it's showing 616 results, but it's got a lot of the fake ones added in versus that number, right? That is, I'm confident that is the right number in terms of total. And this should have actually given me fewer results because of the connection. But that gives you an idea, so you can continue to build this out and get a little more elaborate, or you can add additional filters to go through that. And we'll cover the best way to do that with Sales Navigator on the Sales Navigator course, okay? So, but that gives you some more info on Boolean strings and how they're really good, they're very effective. And there's a number of things. Most people don't realize you can search all other social media sites or any website or any database with those things. So use them. I use them daily, and they're actually pretty simple to master once you get the hang of it. Okay? Thanks.